Hi, my name is Damon Buer, and we're going to introduce you to Peppa today, and specifically just show you some of the things that she does under saddle. Peppa's a 5-year-old Foxtrotter Palomino mare, and she's been trained using the Clinton Anderson method. She's very advanced in these methods, and what I'd like to do is just kind of talk you through some of the things that we're going to do today. The initial set of sequences here are kind of multiple behaviors combined into one. It's an exercise that I like to do just to get her warmed up, but it combines bending her ribs and her head, yielding her hindquarters, yielding her forequarters, and then taking her in a circle using a reverse. So she backs in a circle, backs in an arc, and as you can see from here, I'm not pulling on her mouth. I'm keeping a nice loose rein. She's very much between my legs and not much resistance at all. So as we go through the videos, we'll describe how we come about with this particular exercises, but this is kind of the finished work. So initially what we do is, this is just called the bending exercise, and I will ask her to bend in a circle, then ask her to reverse and take her hind end around her front. I can move this now into a backwards circle, and then we will roll out of it. Front around the back into the next circle. So again, this is the exercises that I like to do to kind of warm her up and get her paying attention to me in the beginning, and this is just the opposite way. So bending her in a circle, yielding her hindquarters right here. Her back end goes around her front, back her in a circle this direction. And then we come out of the circle, rolling over and kind of doing a rollover and going back into the circle that direction. So as you can see, Peppa's very sensitive. She is very responsive and very supple as she does each one of these maneuvers. So this is Mia riding Peppa, and we're going to talk about how we do these individual exercises and put them all together. This is yielding the forequarters around the hind. You see her moving her front end. Her back end stays relatively still. This is a bending exercise. This is how we start the exercise. I ask her to put her nose on my toe. You can see I'm not pulling hard with the rein. There's slack in the rein. She bends around my foot in a nice little tight circle. This is Peppa moving out at a flat foot walk, running walk, and we'll just let you look at some of the things and look at how she moves. All this done on a loose rein. Right here, I'm just showing you how she can steer. If you can see, she has, again, a very loose rein. All I do is adjust my body, kind of lay her rein a little bit across her neck, look over with my shoulders, and she's very responsive to move in that direction. Very, very light, very, very little bit of leg pressure, and I can move her all over the place, not forcing her, not having to drag her head and turn her. She just moves off into that direction very, very willingly. Again, you can just see how everything is done with very, very light hands, not having to drag her around, pull hard on her mouth. She just feels a little bit of rein pressure, a little bit of leg pressure, and moves off in that direction. Sit down and she stops. Collect her, she moves backwards. Here's Mia just showing you a couple of the little gaits from a walk up to a running walk. Okay, after we get control of their head and their neck, we also get control of their ribs. This is Peppa obviously doing a side pass. You can notice how technically correct she is. She's moving her front and her rear end at the same time, crossing over with both front and hind. She's not lagging her hind behind. And she'll do that in both directions. You can see me doing that out here, kind of in a different environment. And then I'll also show you how not only can she side pass, but we also have control of her hind end and her forequarters right here. Now let's slide my leg back a little bit and I can get her to take her back end around her front. Back the other direction. And all this is just about leg position. As I move my leg further back, she'll move different body parts and go back to side passing. Again, notice how she crosses over in the back and the front. And then here's the practical application. We would walk up and be able to open and close a gate. Very important, she doesn't rush through. I can stop her, not just side passing, but now I can back her up so I can go reach the gate. Oh, I ran into the gate, so I can move her hindquarters. You see how important it is to be able to adjust your horse and move all those different body parts, because in the real life, not everything happens the way that you think that it should. So. And then here's Mia doing it in the arena bareback. See Mia putting her foot back a little bit. She can move her rear end back, gives her room to close the gate. Side pass her up to it. With very little effort, she backs up. Peppa is has a very good reverse to her. We back her in straight lines, we back her in circles. All of this done, as you can see, with her head very well collected. She's not pulling on the reins. I continue to say this, but you'll see most horses, as they get asked to back up, people will pull on their mouth to get them to back up. But you just use your legs with Peppa and then block her with the reins a little bit. She will yield her head, and then based on your leg position, go right or left or stay in a straight line. So she has awesome control even in reverse. And these are just a couple of examples of how she backs, so you see her in more than one clip, but straight lines, circles going front and back, and again, just notice how soft and easy it is to do that. Mia's riding here, and you can see slack in the reins. The reins are just in her fingertips, and these are just circles. And this is how we start collecting her at first. We walk in circles and ask her to give her nose. She will walk in a circle to the left with her nose bent to the right. And this again just demonstrates shoulder control. So just because her head's bent to the right doesn't mean that she goes to the right. I can push her shoulders off in the different direction that she has her head shaped. So here she's going in a circle to the right with her head to the right. And now we're going to take her head to the left, push her shoulders still in that circle to the right. So she's looking left and going right. And you might ask, why is this important? You know, if you want to do any kind of versatility, you're going to need to move her around obstacles, but also out on the trail, if you want to go around a tree, and you turn her head to the right to go around that tree, and she drops her shoulders in and knocks her knee off on the tree, that's not very fun. So as we go around the tree, you can push her shoulders off in a different direction to keep her body arced around that tree or a stone or water or whatever obstacle that you encounter. All of this just adds to her safety on the trail, her versatility in the arena. The more control you have over your horse, the better and the more safe that you're going to be out on the trail. You see here, pushing her shoulders in a different direction, her head tipped one direction, and her shoulders going in a different direction, and we can do it kind of at different speeds right here. Take her off to the left circle with her head face to the right. Peppa will be extremely competitive in any kind of versatility event that you want to do, whether it be sorting cows or backing in obstacles, any of the foxtrotter versatility events that you want to participate in. Peppa has all the buttons to do the right things. So if anyone's interested in those type of events, you can see she's very controllable and has the mind to delve into those different events if you want to. I spent a long time training quarter horses, and I've heard from many foxtrotter people that foxtrotters aren't capable of doing this, but if you ride Peppa, you'll notice other than her gait, she really responds just like a quarter horse would in any type of situation where you can control head and neck, ribs, rear end. Peppa's got it all. Here's Mia going into the canter right here. You can see she's got just a nice little soft canter. It's not fast. She's not running off with Mia. It's just a little bit faster actually than that running walk. And just by moving your hips forward and backwards, you can kind of just get her to enter into that cantering gait. She does this again with her head nice and low. She's not trying to run off. She's not fighting the bit. And just kind of dancing in that nice little circle there. So if you need to catch up to your buddies on the trail and you need to get her moving forward a little bit more, it's just a nice little ease up into that canter and then not have to worry about her running off. Here's where we use Mia. I don't dare do this anymore. Mia did a great job. Thank you, Mia. She's not afraid of any obstacles. We work extensively on desensitizing. So she's desensitized the tarps, the flags, the buckets. You can see her backing up. She got her foot caught here. She's not afraid. She's not afraid of it when it chases her, and she just steps right back over it. Peppa's been ridden by 4 people, from experienced trainers to older senior citizens that have had absolutely no experience, out on trails, over bridges, through rivers, and she's just very patient, very gentle, very respectful to her rider. She can dumb it down for the most inexperienced riders, or if you're an experienced rider and ask her to perform something at a higher level, she's more than willing to do it. Again, here's something that I don't do anymore, but Mia did a great job. Peppa's been ridden bareback. You'll see through these next clips, she treats it just like she would if she had a saddle on. Nice, smooth little canter. Peppa picks up the leads, going both directions very well. See here, Mia asking her to give her face. So she lopes collected. As soon as Mia sits down, she parks it and stops. One last thing we'll only do as a youngster. Here we're up in the ante on the desensitization, and this is really loud inside. Peppa just standing there, and Peppa's been around all types of motor vehicles, from 4-wheelers to tractors, motorbikes. The kids at the farm ride all over the place and in and out all the time, so Peppa's used to any type of distraction that you'd see there. Obstacles are great things to get your horse used to different distractions and kind of help building their confidence. You can see how stepping up and down off these tires will help them when it comes to stepping up and down off rocky ledges. And you don't want your horse jumping off, you want him kind of stepping down. She's not great at this yet, but you can see how good of her control she is. She's stepped up, and now I can get her to move around in a circle and keep her feet up on the tire. Again, this is her first time, and I'm not saying she's great at it, but at least you know she's available to do it. These are all pretty self-explanatory, so I'll just let you watch as she goes through, but pay attention to this one especially, how she will step down with her front feet, and then not try to just jump off, but find her way with her back feet and kind of ease herself down. Before she goes down to the next level. guess the bottom line I want to hit home with everybody is the more control you have over your horse, the safer you're going to be out on the trail. Whether that be the simple maneuvers, the more complicated maneuvers we're talking about in the arena, all translates to trail riding. So who doesn't want a nice, safe trail horse that they can have confidence that they're going to be able to stop and steer whenever they need to? And I think Peppa's that horse. She's been exposed to traffic. She's also been ridden around a lot of man-made objects. So she has trail experience, and she also has experience around other type of things. You can see her walking through a drainage ditch here. I start everything, this is why it's important to have good ground manners and to be able to control your horse on the ground so that you can make sure that the horse isn't going to spook and do something silly before you get on and do it on their back. So again, a prime example of how you start things on the ground and then move towards the saddle. These are just some examples of other suppling exercises that we do. We do them at different gaits. We talked about collection and how soft she is on the mouth, but we can get her to do that, and not just at the walk, but kind of at the running, walk, trot, and we're working on her doing it at the canter. So we trot her off in this direction. I sit down in the seat. You can see I'm not pulling back with my reins, jerking her mouth back. All I have to do is just kind of sit down. She stops, and move her off in the other direction. Put my foot on, take her the other direction. She rolls over, goes the other direction. Now we're going to start at the lope. Just kind of ease her up again by just changing your riding style, moving your hips forward and backward. She picks that up. Peppa has been exposed to cows, so if you wanted to do any kind of team sorting or pen work with cows, she's not afraid of cows, and you can see she has the ability to move, cut a cow, go backwards, chase that cow the other direction. Very responsive. Again, the more control you have over your horse under saddle, the safer that horse is going to be. And again, we just go through some of the exercises that we've kind of done, repetitive, but to let you see them in kind of different situations. We hope you enjoyed the video, seeing all the things that Peppa does. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to call Adam Yokish. His number is on the horse bay. You can also call me. My number is on the first video, and we'd like to answer any questions you might have. Please feel free to come ride Peppa before you put a bid in. Thanks again.